Good morning, you guys. Can you hear me? Good morning, Shez. All right, let's try that again. All right, so game plan for today. So this level here, right where we're at pretty much at 23,550, pretty important level. It was resistance for the last several days. And since we broke above it and we've been holding above it, if we hold this level, pretty much where we're at right now, I would consider taking longs at the open. If we get below it, that's kind of a big deal. And then if we break below yesterday's value area low at around 23,500, which has also been a significant level over the last couple days, and we hold below it and maybe retest, I would consider shorts. So those are my two kind of scenarios for the day. Gonna see how things go. Yeah, Oreo, my thoughts are longs too. But we gotta hold some of these levels that we're at. Good morning, good morning. I love it when you guys come in and say good morning in the chat. Gives me someone to talk to, so I'm not talking to myself. So Oreo has a bullish bias. What are you guys thinking? Up or down for the day? I do like using the volume profile, session volume profile from the previous day. Kind of the idea of guilty until proven innocent, or innocent until proven guilty, I guess. But we're above yesterday's point of control, which means that, to me, it means bulls are in control. Also, this blue line right here is yesterday's anchored VWAP from the New York session. We're still holding above that. So buyers are in control until we break below this level for me. And then we would get confirmation of that if we break and hold below that 500. That's what I'm thinking. Tell me your guys' thoughts. I'm curious. Curious to know what you guys are thinking. Yeah, Shez, you have been jumping in on those 15-minute opening range rejections. Kind of a retest of the high or the low. I've seen you doing that. Been working pretty well for you, it seems like. Coming on down to that point of control. I have this high volume node, this gray shaded area. Getting inside of there, the bottom of that would kind of be like 538, 537-ish. And that, I didn't show you guys because I was in the middle of talking about my trading plan, but that was the short that I was in right here. I took a small loss earlier this morning. I was trying to short the rejection of VWAP. We were holding below for a decent amount of time, but got stopped out there. This one ended up going to full profit. So that's what this account is, my TradeDay account. So I'll go ahead and lock that one out. And then I'll be trading my top 1 futures with you guys. All right, market's open, you guys. Let's see what it brings us. Coming on down. So far, it's opening down. That sell-off over the last couple hours looks like it's continuing so far. I'm not opposed to taking an early position if this holds this 550 level. Risk to reward would be pretty good. $524 is still the opening low. Sitting around 547-ish, still kind of hovering below 550. Right around yesterday's point of control. Choppy open so far. Yikes. It's trying to hold that level. Alright, I'm taking a small position long just because, like I said, that was an important level. Gonna see if it holds. Start throwing on our anchored VWAPs and range so far. Still chopping around that 550 level. This is not like normal opens where there's a very clear like pump or dump in one direction. This is weird. So far, this is our opening range low. Yeah, Oreo, I am in a trade. I don't normally enter that early. I know it was a little bit crazy. The reasoning was, it was just, like, that was my game plan from last night. That was my prep. If it came down and retested this 550 level and held, I was thinking longs. So the fact that it dropped below and had a strong buy up off of that level, that was my reasoning for it. Just simple, good risk to reward. Because if my long bias is right, then we could go back up to like the overnight highs. So that's my reasoning for it. I know it's a little bit crazy doing it within the first couple minutes of the open because there could still be quite a bit of manipulation, but that's why I sized down a little bit. That was my reasoning for the entry. So far, I'm not loving the chop though. I'd love to see some momentum and buy up out of this. Ugly open so far, you guys. What the heck? Gotta get off that 1 minute chart. That was ugly. What is going on, you guys? Did I miss something? Like, is there significant news that the market is waiting for? All I see is crude oil inventories in like an hour. this is the kind of choppy pre-market action we get, or not pre-market, but like New York Open action we get when there's news coming in 15 minutes and no one wants to commit to anything. One possibility is NVIDIA earnings are this afternoon, right? Yeah, I wonder if, I mean, that's going to have a huge effect on NQ. So maybe today is going to be choppy, everyone waiting for that news. I don't know. That would suck if the whole day is choppy because of that. Look at that 1 minute chart, you guys. That's a beauty, ain't it? All right, so far our opening range is 40 points. This is like an ES type of open. If NQ is like that, then what's ES like? Oh my gosh, ES is actually moving a little bit more. Let's measure ES's range. ES is 10 points. Okay, it's smaller. But still, ES actually looks like it's moving up. So it kind of makes me wonder if NVIDIA earnings later today is having an effect on NQ. Ah, look at ES, it's going good. Nice little movement up. Days like today make me wish I had the capacity to like watch 5 different things, trade different instruments. I do agree with the recommendation that like you want to master one thing before you try to trade too many things, because then you're kind of spreading yourself thin. I do agree with that. That's why I've stuck with it. But on a day like today, when NQ is ugly and choppy, all right, that stopped me out. Then it makes me wish that I had something else to trade, you know? Alrighty. The choppiness continues. Wicked me out, and now it looks kind of like it wants to go up. I don't know. All right, getting heavy. sell-off continues. So next area of support would be down here around 23,500-ish. If it breaks below that value area low from yesterday, then I'll be switching my bias and kind of thinking we're going short. That was a pretty big sell-off so far at the open. Hey, Sasmit. Yeah, it was this morning at about 7:20 Central, so 8:20 Eastern. Nice rejection from the previous London high. And then back down to point of control, which was my target. Dang. What a sell-off. That was interesting, you guys, having that choppiness for the first 6 minutes. And then all of a sudden it just dumped. Good morning, Nick. Welcome. Hopefully your job interview went well. Good luck with that. Next time you come on stream, you gotta let us know. Let us know what the decision was. Hopefully you get good news. So far, we broke out of the 15-minute opening range low, but we're at yesterday's value area low and a pretty significant area of support at this 500 level. And anything above this 500 level in my pre-plan for today, I was still leaning towards longs. If we drop and hold below that, then I'll kind of switch my bias. But that's the main reason I'm not immediately entering a short on this 15-minute opening range breakout to the downside. Because we're at a clear area of support right here. If it doesn't hold, we have plenty of areas below that it could still go to. Getting a good bounce off of that level. So far, it's kind of looking like a little fake out break to the downside. Now it wants to move back up. Let's see if it can reclaim that 550 level. That was huge resistance from yesterday and previous days too. So I wouldn't want to take a long here. Really wouldn't want to take a long or a short, and that's my reasoning why. I do like that it's bouncing off of this 500 and kind of looking like it's wanting to reclaim, but now it's rejecting, so kind of still continuing that chop, honestly. If it holds 500 and reclaims 550, I'd be interested in longs. If it holds below 500, could possibly be looking for shorts. For now, I will wait and see, wait for some confirmation. Decent amount of support down here. I'm glad I didn't take that opening range breakout trade to the downside. It was running right into support. It's not wanting to get back above though. It's hanging on by a thread. This is an ugly open, you guys. I know we've had some choppy price action in the last couple days, but at least the open previously in the last couple days had some momentum. Today, even the open is sleepy. Liquidity sweep at 479. Yeah. I don't know. It's looking like it wants to bounce from there. So far, at least. Let's see how this 5-minute candle closes. Man, really want to take a long. Trying to be patient though, because it still could reject this New York anchored VWAP and continue the breakout to the downside. But it's holding that 500 level. Peeking its head up above this New York anchored VWAP, it did reclaim the 15-minute opening range low. That 550 level though, it's still stuck below there. What do you guys think? Is it going to hold this 15-minute opening range and continue up? Or is that same 550 level from yesterday going to be resistance for today too? We're going to see more red. What do you guys think? It's chopping around right between those levels. Yeah, Shez, I feel you. Choppy and then just stuck in between two key areas. 550 is big resistance, 500 is big support. Who's gonna win? It's looking like it's trying to go higher. Staying patient. If it reclaims this, I'll consider a long. If it breaks below this, I'll consider shorts. Still looking like it wants to make its way up. It's trying. It is going nowhere. We're 30 minutes into the open, and this is our range, 76 points. There is nothing going on right now. This was a big 5-minute candle buy up off of that 500 level. Yesterday's value area low, higher time frame support at 500. Reclaimed this 15-minute opening range low, sitting above New York anchored VWAP. For me, there's lots of reasons to be long. The big reason I'm not is because this 550 level has been resistance and it's not breaking above it. It's trying. Sellers are definitely not able to continue this sell-off that we had in the open. Buyers are defending it. We just gotta get back above that resistance. There we go. Come on. You gotta hold up above there. Don't just wick up there, you gotta hold. So playing around with risk to reward, if I was to enter, stop loss I'd probably put below the opening range low, and then target, I mean, we could go all the way up to Asia high if this thing gets bullish. We do have a VWAP and the 15-minute opening range high resistance overhead. But the main resistance is this 550 level. If it holds above that, my plan was that we were going higher. Come on. Are you going to hold above that level? Or if you're going to go down, just go down already. It's testing everyone's patience here. Break above, retest, go long. That's what I want. My little squiggly snake line. If I wait until a clear break above 550, I could have my entry be here, stop loss would be below these wicks. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and enter, start averaging in a little bit. If it comes back down and retests a little bit lower, I'll add to my position. And then, I mean, full like bull target, I'm gonna go for 628, 630. Go for that Asia high. The main resistance we have is VWAP. And then, I mean, we have previous day high, but I don't count that as hardcore resistance because we've already been breaking above that overnight, all night long. Now let's see if we can get some continuation. Get a little bit of volume and momentum behind this thing. $540.3 is my entry. See if it goes up to 628. If it breaks above VWAP, which is also this 15-minute opening range high, and we like get some confirmation that this thing is going higher, I might add to my position because then I can move my stop loss higher too. I would prefer to have some volume and momentum come behind it first though, because if this is just going to continue to be a choppy day, then I don't want to be doing that. Stop loss is going to be down at 522. Let's see if we can break up above 565. That's the main resistance that I'm seeing so far right now. VWAP and 15-minute opening range high. So got to get above that if we're going to see some continuation. Don't want to see a rejection here. We got to hold 550. The only thing I can think is that the market's waiting for NVIDIA earnings later today. I can't think of any other reason why things are so slow, other than, I guess, the normal summer slowness. But the summer slowness has kind of just been like the market opens heavy and then it dies within the first 15 to 30 minutes. That's kind of what I've been seeing for the summer slowdown. It's not usually slow the entire day like this. Hey Luna, what's going on? Are you in any trades right now? What are you doing? Yep, I'm in a long right now, sitting through this slow chop. Got to break above VWAP and the 15-minute opening range high for me to feel a little bit better about it. But yeah, I'm in this long right here. You have one winner and one loser so far? That's pretty much what I have. So took one trade early this morning. That was a tiny loss, just an 11-point stop loss. I didn't size up very big on that one, but was playing the rejection of VWAP. Got in the right trade over here. So on that one, I was able to max out my TradeDay account. Got out on that. And then so far in the open, I've had one loss and then the one that I'm sitting in right now. So I took a long here. I've been watching this 23,550 level. It was big resistance yesterday, so I was kind of hoping that it would hold. It was also yesterday's point of control. So took a long here, and I think I was just early. This is pretty much the same idea. We reclaimed the New York anchored VWAP, reclaimed that 550 level, so trying a long again. So far so good, starting to break up above the session VWAP. I might add to my position here in a minute if it clearly holds above this 15-minute opening range high. And then targeting high of the day, Asia high. See if we get up there. Slowly starting to break up above the 15-minute opening range high. Not a whole lot of volume though. That's the main thing that's making me nervous about this whole thing. It's kind of just a slow grind up, which could also turn into a really fast dump. All right, I'm adding 2, so now my new entry is 550. Which is pretty much where that support is that I'm wanting to hold. New stop loss will be right below that wick and point of control at 543. Other resistance we have we're kind of coming up to a little bit now, previous week's value area high, kind of providing a little bit of resistance, 585-ish. Let's see if it breaks through that. So far, this is a good, strong hold above VWAP and opening range high. So I like that. It's just a matter of where it's going to continue to. If this stays bullish though, the pre-market plan that I laid out, my target was up here in the 750s, 770s, somewhere around there. My reasoning for that is if you look at the session volume profile, point of controls for each session often get tested. It's almost like the same idea as a gap fill, where like they don't always get tested, but they often do. And this right here at 23,772 has not really been tested that much. And it's right here in this high volume node. And we have a big fair value gap that hasn't been filled on the higher time frame up to like 738. So 738 would kind of be the initial target if this breaks the highs of the day. And then if it comes to 738, 770-ish would be my ultimate target. So far, so good. Finally getting some momentum in either direction. I didn't care if it was up or down. I just didn't want to be stuck in that chop. All right, gonna trail my stop loss to this opening range high VWAP area at 562. Where is yesterday's high? 610. We do have the initial balance coming up here in about 9 minutes too. Slowing down a little bit here. There you go, Oreo, hit your first TP. What's your full TP for the trade? We do have, if you look at the higher time frame, we have a little wick at 23,650 up here. So, I mean, I always say if, I'm not like predicting the market, but if it does go bullish and we come up to this 740-ish level that I was saying earlier, 750 could also provide a little resistance too. But I'm curious, what are you targeting, Oreo? I do like to watch these VWAP standard deviation bands. That's kind of where it's getting stuck right now. David. Took a little scalp from VWAP to the range high. Yeah, I don't know if we're going back to the highs. We're getting stuck here. The main reason I'm holding it is we've gotten past the main obstacle, in my opinion, which was the session VWAP, which was right at the opening range high. We broke above that. So now we don't have any like super clear official levels. I mean, we have previous day high. I don't put a lot of weight on that though, because we've already been chopping around and kind of like cleared out that liquidity overnight last night. The main resistance now is Asia high. Maybe here at like 619. Quite a bit of liquidity there. I don't like that we're getting stuck here though. Yeah, on the daily, that's why my bias today was long. The daily chart looks bullish. I need to turn off some of this stuff to make it easier to see. But yeah, that close yesterday, yesterday's close was super strong. And there's wicks, lots of wicks to the downside. So my bias was long if we held that 550 level, and we did. Just curious to see how much continuation we get. If we break the Asia high, we have this fair value gap on the higher time frame. That 730-ish level, 720 on the daily chart. Definitely some possibilities to the upside. It's going nowhere fast though. sure. How is Lucid as a prop firm? I like it a lot. So it's a lot like, it's very similar rules to Tradeify, where they have straight to funded, that's 8 days of trading, 20% consistency. They also have challenges, which I think their rules on their challenges are actually a little bit better than Tradeify, but it's a typical like 1 day to pass, and then once you get funded, it's structured a little bit more like Top Step. Once you get funded, you do have a consistency in their funded challenge route. It's 35% consistency, but you just have to have 5 winning green days to qualify for a payout. So that's better than Tradeify because you only have 5 days. And then the thing that I like about them, because I like Tradeify a lot too, I trade with them, but I like Lucid maybe a little bit more because they have Project X. Tradeify has been talking about getting Project X for like 6 months now, and they still don't have it. So I'm not going to hold my breath for that one. But I like Lucid a lot. It's affordable too. It's their sale right now. It's $91, I think, for their 50K challenge test, I think is what they call it. And there's no activation fee. And it's 1 day to pass. And then once you pass, like I said, you can get payouts in as little as 5 days. So for $91, if you trade well, you can get a payout in as soon as 6 days. That's a pretty sweet deal. And you can copy trade up to 5 accounts too, which is cool. All right, coming up to previous day high. Is that going to provide any sort of resistance, or are we going to be clear to pass through? Pass go, collect $200 along the way. Come on, baby, let's go. Oh man, Nick, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that, man. I've definitely made that mistake before, trading NQ and not realizing it, and then within seconds you can lose so much money, and then either blow that account in that one trade or like have it cause you to get tilted because you're all frustrated from the mistake that you made. That's no fun. That's a good chance to take some time off. Like take a day off to kind of clear your head, get yourself back in the right mindset. Because if you try to just go buy a new account today and trade it today and you're still feeling frustrated and down about it, you're likely still on tilt. So maybe take the day off or a couple days if you need it. Watch a few videos on mindset, like meditate, walk, work out, whatever you do to kind of get yourself back in a good positive headspace. And then start again fresh when you're ready. That's kind of what I was talking about in the video that I posted yesterday. Just kind of the like crazy emotional roller coaster that we go through with trading. And I don't know if it gets better, honestly. Maybe we learn how to regulate our emotions a little bit better so the swings aren't quite as big. But I would imagine there's still lots of ups and downs. Like for you, going from like passing your eval and getting your sim funded account and being like on this high to the low of lows because you blew your account. I've had the same exact thing happen where I'm like, I got a payout, I'm the best trader ever. Sarcastically, I would never say that out loud because I'm pretty humble about it, but like just feeling like, okay, I got this, I can actually do this, and then the next day you just do something stupid and blow your account. The ups and downs are crazy. It's on my YouTube channel, Nick. I can go pull the link. But yeah, I was just talking like raw, honest. Didn't really even share a whole lot of tips on like how to fix it, just kind of recognizing that it is there and I see you. Just because I think the reasoning behind it and like the motivation behind why I decided to share this video is so much out there is about like the money that you make and the lifestyle and the freedom and like I'm getting all these payouts. But people don't share the honesty behind the scenes of how much it sucks and how lonely it is sometimes and how hard it is. All right, there it is, Nick. I just posted it. Anytime I think I've got it, the market's like, psych. Yup. I posted a video on this a long time ago. I don't even remember which one it is, but it's also talking about the mindset of like emotional regulation. And it comes from my background as a nutrition coach. So as a nutrition coach, I would teach people to like regulate their emotions on, like think of emotional eating where you're like celebrating something or it's a birthday or you're like you got a promotion. We celebrate with food. Like you'll go out to eat and have a few too many drinks or like celebrate with dessert. And then the opposite end of the spectrum, if you have the worst day ever and you're feeling depressed and you're down, you're also gonna fill that emotional need with food. So my coaching with nutrition was to like regulate those emotions. Don't have too high of highs, don't have too low of lows, and don't fix it with food. But the same concept applies with trading too. Don't let yourself get too excited that like, I had a great day of trading, I got a payout, now I'm gonna be a millionaire, I'm the best trader ever. And then the other end of the spectrum, like, I blew my account, I had a terrible day today, I suck at this, I should just quit trading. Both of those extremes we should not have. We should stay a little bit more in a narrower middle emotional range. Like, yeah, I had a great day trading, maybe I got a payout, I'm doing well, but I still need to show up and do the basics every single day. Still follow my rules, still journal all my entries, still keep my emotions in check. And then opposite end of the spectrum too. Like, don't let myself get too freaked out about how I had a bad day yesterday or I blew my account or like that emotional downward spiral. Pick yourself back up and come back to the middle and just stay humble, just like keep yourself focused on the day-to-day tasks. So I know it's easier said than done, but that's always my goal, is just to keep myself calm and steady, whether it's a really good day of trading or a really bad day of trading. It's okay. Pick myself back up. Keep myself in that middle. necessarily have to sacrifice being really happy. Like, I think you should still definitely count your wins. Like, be proud of your wins. Congratulate yourself. Like, celebrate if you get a payout, or if you follow your rules, or like whatever milestones you have for yourself. If you hit those milestones, celebrate. Be proud of yourself. But don't let that affect your trading the next day. And how do you get cocky and start oversizing and think that you're the smartest trader ever and you can predict the market? I just think you gotta keep yourself more in that center. Don't let your highs be too high and your lows be too low. All right, this trade is taking like 30 minutes to play out, so you guys got me off of this on this rant. Lots of time to talk during this. Oh, that concept applies to poker too. I didn't even know that. I've never really played poker other than just hanging out with friends in my living room. Emotional numbing. That makes sense. Resistance at 620. Yeah, I was watching that. So my ultimate target is Asia high, but I know that's kind of letting my bias get in the way because I am leaning towards it going higher. But zooming out, we do have all of this right here. That whole area of resistance. So yeah, I'll go ahead and take off too. Kind of chopping around that previous day high and resistance level. And then let's see if it gets up to Asia high. Oreo, you target what you want, man. I personally have my target set at 628 for Asia high. Because again, my bias is long. I think it's going to go higher, or I think there's a good chance that it could go higher. And even if it's going to turn around and we're going lower for the rest of the day, I could see it grabbing that Asia liquidity first and then dumping. So that's kind of my thought. But I did just take off 2 contracts since we are kind of at that resistance area. The one that I drew up right here. Lots of resistance in that zone. And then we're at previous day high too. Me versus me. I am my biggest opponent. Yep, absolutely. I think anyone who's been in trading for more than, 3 or 4 months definitely realizes that. Because it's easy to learn the strategy in the beginning. and do all of your back testing and paper trading and be like, I got this, trading is easy. And then you get into the like actual emotional side of things and it all changes. All right, I didn't even pay attention to the initial balance high since I was already in a position. So where is our initial balance high? IB high is right there. So we're actually falling back below IB high. Interesting. Don't want to let it drop too far. That's not a good sign. All right, I'm closing my position. That was a big rejection from IB high. Looks like it's going lower. Definitely could bounce and go higher. I just don't. I want to make sure I can secure the profits that I did get. If it holds, so this is the next area. If we're going to continue with longs, this is where I'm watching. We have VWAP and 15-minute opening range high right here. If it bounces in this area, that could potentially be a good spot for a long continuation. But we'll see. There you go, Mohammed. Good job. Were you in the same long with me? That was a pretty big bounce right there. Almost the same bias, took 2 trades, cool. Good job. It's always a good feeling to be green. Let's see if my little red dot works as a magnet. Is it going to help bring price down to that level? Come on, red magnet, come down to 565. You're short, so that would be nice. What are you targeting, Chez? Yeah, that 5-minute candle had a pretty big bounce. Buyers are making it tough for this thing to retrace. Man, this thing does not want to go down. Looks like it retested again. Yeah, Shez, I agree. I don't think I would want to short from here, although now we get a pretty strong rejection. I would want to take a long from VWAP area down here, or if it comes up to Asia high and we get a strong rejection, then I would consider a short there. But this is kind of a middle chop zone without any super clear levels. Deciding when to trail your stop loss and when to leave it that's a hard thing. I agree. For me, it comes down to how confident I am in the trade. So like if I have a ton of confluence, I'm going with the trend, I'm following all my rules, like it is an A+ setup, then I'll usually leave my stop loss where it's at and let the trade breathe. Unless I get some new information that tells me I should exit the position or trail my stop or whatever. But if I feel like I'm going against the trend, or maybe like I rushed my entry, or it, just didn't follow my rules 100%, that's when I feel the need to trail my stop loss, because I'm like, I'm not sure about this, I'm gonna lose money, I don't want to lose money. That's the difference I've noticed. I'll sit there so much more calmly if it's a really good setup, because even if I lose, I can feel good about it because I followed my rules and it was a good loss. So maybe evaluate that. Like if you feel like you have a really good setup, let it play out. Because I know you've talked a couple times about how trailing your stop loss has messed you up more times than not. All right, we're just chopping around at the top of IB high. Getting back into that chop mode, man. All right, what are we gonna do? We're gonna reject IB high again? Or is it trying to break to the upside? Volume has died down, that's for sure. Shez, what time frame do you trade off of? Are you on the 5-minute or what? Five and 15. Cool. So yeah, you definitely do zoom out. I used to stay on the 1-minute a lot more. I very rarely do now. I try to get off of it completely. But zooming out to the 5-minute has helped me with my stop loss placement a lot. and I don't get wicked out as much anymore. I'm not saying I don't at all, but it's helped. Trying to decide what it wants to do here at IB High. Are we going to reject from here, or is it going to go up and grab that Asia liquidity first? Your stop loss starts in a good spot and then you move it. Yeah, I can relate. These rejections at IB High are making me think it wants to go lower from here, but it's not continuing down. Yeah, yesterday, and then if I remember right, Monday's wicks were pretty tough. We've had a couple of choppy days. I feel like if this does break IB High, it's going to be a pretty powerful move, because it's going to be breaking through some stop losses. This is ugly, you guys. What is everyone thinking? You thinking it's consolidating to break out higher above initial balance? Or is this thing working on a rejection? Really just sitting at that 600 level. Right now it's just trapping. Yep. That's probably what it's doing. What do we have on our current session volume profile? How's that looking? Well, no surprise, our point of control is sitting right at 600, which is where we've been shopping around. So this low volume area right here, that makes me think that we could just come down real fast to VWAP and bounce back up. Let's see if it actually moves down from here. It's the first time we've actually had a good 5-minute candle closure in one direction and we didn't get all those wicks. That is a first. So it does look like we're headed down. How far down, we'll see. Somewhere in this area right here is kind of what I'm thinking. That is confirmed by the volume profile too. Thoughts on it coming one more time all the way down to New York low liquidity. I personally don't think so. Obviously, I could be wrong. My reasoning for not is, in my pre-market game plan, I was thinking if it held this level right here, at yesterday's point of control and the 550-ish level that was really big resistance from yesterday, if we held this level, I was looking for longs. So if it comes all the way back down, I think we would need something to push it lower, because this 550 level I think is going to be pretty big support. So if it breaks below this level, then my thought is we're not getting back above it. So if we come all the way back down to initial balance low and bounce, then I feel like 550 would be resistance and we would be continuing lower. So my thought is more just we'll get a little bit of a pullback to this area, find some sort of support around VWAP or 15-minute opening range, and then continue higher. I don't know though. Could be wrong. The way I do it is kind of just have certain levels that are support and resistance. So if we stay above a certain level, then I'm looking for longs. If we break below a certain level, I'd be looking for shorts. Just kind of different ideas that provide, I guess, invalidations or whatever, confluence for my trades. It could though, D, if that's what you're seeing in your charts. It could. 50 level was big resistance and now probably support. or at least lots of volume traded in this area. Beyond that, buyers have been in control. Like, the trend during the New York session is up. And sellers are trying to reject this initial balance high area, but buyers keep defending it. So I kind of feel like there would have to be some news event or like something big would have to happen for this thing to drop all the way back down. I don't like any trades from this exact level where we're at right now. I don't like longs just because it hasn't really pulled back to a good level for a bounce. Risk to reward wouldn't be great because I would want to put my stop loss below VWAP since that's where I'm thinking it could pull back to. And then I don't like shorts from this level either because, one, it would be going against the trend. That's the main thing. But also, it could still come up to this Asia high and grab that liquidity. So, gotta get out of this chop zone. My goodness, you guys. The market might just be waiting for NVIDIA earnings. We might just get this chop for the rest of the day. That might be what's happening. Are we actually going to get out of this range? All right, chat. Who's falling asleep on me? Is this price action putting anyone to sleep? ES is chopping around too. in that it looks very similar. Oh wow, look at gold. Gold's pumping. We haven't really gone anywhere after this 9 o'clock 30-minute candle. Since then, it's been stuck in like a 20-point range, 30-point range for the last hour. Luna's fallen asleep. How much am I up? So the TradeDay account, the one that I took the short earlier this morning, I locked that one out at 8:44. And I copy trade 3 accounts on that one. And then the one that I traded this morning with you guys at the New York Open, that one's 322. So I took a loss. The first one was a loss and I was down like 250. And then the second one was a win. And I made, I don't know, 500-ish on it. So now I'm up 322. So waiting for a good, clean setup because I don't want to give those profits back. If I can make a little bit more, cool. If I finish at 322, then I'm fine. Oh man. Choppy. I started trading in September of 2024. So 10 months or so, 11 months, something like that. I had watched a couple of videos before then, but I would say I didn't really start like actually trading and learning, practicing what I watched in the videos until September. And I didn't really like paper trade that much. I only maybe did it for like a week or so. To be honest, I'm more of a like jump out of the airplane and figure out how to open your parachute later kind of person. So I practiced a little bit on TradingView just kind of to learn like the position sizing and learn how to click buy and sell and place limit orders and all that stuff. But I pretty much went full into prop firms from the beginning. I think it helped me learn a little bit faster. I probably lost more money than I should have in the beginning, but it forced me to really pay attention and learn. It's easy to get sloppy and lazy when you're doing it on a paper trading account. I'm one smart lady. Why do you say that? You could also say I'm a little bit dumb and reckless with some of the things that I just said. That's actually pretty much everything I've done in life in terms of like dropping out of college, starting a business, moving to a completely new town where I knew no one, to open up a gym. Like a lot of the things that I've done that sound really crazy, that's kind of been my whole life. I grew up in California, just randomly got up and packed everything into my car and moved to Texas and went to college within like 2 days notice. Most of the things that I do, that's the theme of my life, is jump out of the airplane and then figure out how to open your parachute later. It makes me have to learn things fast and figure things out fast, but it also causes a lot of stress and anxiety, that's for sure. Yeah, Oreo, that's actually pretty cool that you've learned so young. Stick with it and keep improving, keep learning, stay humble with it. The sky's the limit for you. Thinking of, you're in high school, right, Oreo? Dropping out of high school? Or are you considering not going to college? Oh, considering not going to college. Yeah, I I'm not normal in my thoughts on college, honestly. I kind of think college is a waste of money unless you want to be something specific that needs college, like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. But for the average high school student who has no idea what they want to do with their life and they're about to go get $200,000 into debt from college and then graduate with a job that is not going to pay them any more than they could get paid straight out of high school, I think college is dumb. There are some benefits from it, like you have to grow up a little bit, moving out of your parents' house and like going and figuring some things out on your own, assuming you don't have rich parents that are going to do it all for you. So there are some benefits because you have to grow up, but there's also a lot cheaper ways to do that. I think going to a trade school or like going to different seminars or things that you're interested in, like if you like building things, maybe go to like a construction trade school, or if you're good at talking to people and you could be good at sales, go take some sales courses or seminars. Like I'm all for learning, but I think there's a lot cheaper ways to do it than going to college and spending $40,000 per year when honestly, an 18-year-old doesn't know what they want to do with the rest of their life. I was a server in college and I got really good at it and eventually worked at a fine dining restaurant, and I was making $300, $400 a night in tips as a 20-year-old. I was making more than most of my college graduate friends. So, and that's just one example. Also, sales is another thing that you can make 6 figures in. Like, you can make a lot of money in sales. I think there's some great options for work out there. You don't need a college degree. But I know there's a lot of people who feel strongly otherwise, so you do you. Yeah, Shez, the system is terribly broken. Like, if you go to a private school, like a really good private school, it's not even exaggerating, like $50,000, $70,000 per year. And then if you go to like one of the cheap state schools, you can easily spend $20,000 a year. So you're no less than $80,000 in debt by the time you graduate. And then, honestly, most of these entry-level positions, people are getting jobs that pay $50,000 a year. So they're barely able to pay for their apartment or whatever. Like, they're barely able to pay for their bills, and now they have an $80,000 loan that they need to pay back. People, like, adults, like 50, 60-year-olds are still paying for their college student loans. It's ridiculous. $80,000 a year, yeah. That's crazy. Not worth it at all. Even if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something that like has a high likelihood of making a lot of money, you're still going to be paying student loans forever. Oreo, that's tough. I feel you. Your parents don't think that you'll be a failure without college. Honestly, anytime you go against the grain, you're going to have people that don't believe in you. You're going to have people that tell you you're wrong and like make you doubt yourself or make you feel like you're doing the wrong thing, and that's tough. Thankfully for me, my mom has always been supportive. Like, when I dropped out of school, she was like, all right, figure it out. When I decided that I wanted to be a trader, she's like, cool, I believe in you. I think you can do this. I think you'll be good at it. Like, every crazy thing I do, she's always believed in me. So that's nice. Because I think if it was my mom or like a really close family member, it would have been a lot harder. But I definitely do have, like, my grandpa always told me that it was a terrible mistake to drop out of school. I have siblings and aunts and other family members that think that day trading is horrible and like I'm going to lose all my money. So you'll definitely have people that are going to try to sway you. You just have to believe in yourself. Stuck in this range, you guys. Still chopping. So I'm zoomed out to the 30-minute time frame. This 30-minute candle is finally starting to get heavy, and we only have 1 minute left on it, so it's looking like it's going to close pretty bearish. So it does look like a pullback is coming, at least. I still don't think it's going to drop all the way down to the low of the day. Somewhere in this area, near VWAP or 15-minute opening range high, or even this 550 area, it could retest this. So possibly here too. But I'm still leaning towards longs, honestly. What does our session volume profile look like? Yeah, so our point of control is up here, holding below that for now. On this, if we were to fall through this low volume node, the next area of support is right around here at like 556, which is also kind of where VWAP is. Let's see. I was kind of hoping that we would get a little bit of a pullback so that we could take one more trade on stream, maybe take a long off of this area. I don't know if we're going to get it though. What are my settings for the SVP? Let me show you. So I put it at 8:30 to, I need to make it 3 o'clock. I thought I saved this. So this is Central Time, 8:30 to 3 o'clock. So 9:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern. And that's pretty much it. I think on here, the only other thing I turned off was the value area high and value area low is turned on by default, I think. But that's pretty much it. Oh, and I changed the color too. I think the default is like a bright pink and blue or something like that. So I changed the color so it's white and gray. That's pretty much it. Coming on down. We do have this previous wick over here at 584. It's breaking below that. Let's see if we get some continuation down and then see where it finds support if it does. Be fine an entry for another long. Oh man. Yeah, D, this is another reason that I'm not thinking this is going to go all the way back down to IB low. It is just getting held up. Buyers don't want to let it go down. That was wishful thinking. Were you in a short off of the IB high rejection? Yeah. It's bouncing off of a weird area right here at 583. I don't see any, like, I mean, there's a little bit of chop right here, but it's not like a clear liquidity grab or anything like that. Honestly, I just think it's chopping around in the middle of nowhere. Coming back up to point of control. If we're continuing lower, this would be a good spot to reject from. Hi, TT. Good morning. How's it going? Sitting here through this chop. Was hoping for a pullback to one of these levels to enter long off of, but it's going nowhere. This is one of those days where if you're a quick, like, scalping range trader, you can make some decent money. It's hit these highs and lows so many times over the last hour. Not my kind of trade though. Tiny little 26-point range. Don't know if anything's gonna change. up to IB high. See if it actually breaks out this time or if it rejects and does come back down to VWAP. Let's see. Wow. That was an interesting rejection. Well, it came down to VWAP. And it bounced. Remember what I was saying earlier about this session volume profile? When there's a low volume node like that, if it comes down into that low volume area, it usually wicks pretty fast. So that's kind of what happened. It'll be interesting to see if it continues lower though and then finds support at this 550 level, or if it bounces from here. Crazy little wick. Was that news related or just an IB high rejection, taking out some stop losses on the way? I don't see anything on Financial Juice. Manipulation, yeah. Well, with that aggressive buy-up off of VWAP, kind of wondering if that was the move lower and now it's going to continue higher. I would have liked to see it come a little bit lower though. And it happened so fast that I didn't enter. I'm not a fan of putting buy orders on the chart because with how fast that moved, it could have easily just continued dumping down. I don't want to be in that. ES didn't have that. I have it on MES. There was a similar wick. Maybe if you're looking at, oh, NQ had it. I know sometimes MNQ will have a wick and NQ doesn't. Big bounce off of VWAP. Interesting, interesting. $6,486 for New York anchor VWAP. Are you talking about on ES? I don't know. I didn't anchor it on ES. I usually don't trade ES. I'll glance at it every once in a while just to kind of see if it's moving in the same general direction as NQ, just because I'm curious. But I don't go through and like add all the opening ranges and anchored VWAPs and all that stuff. All right, well, it had that big bounce off of VWAP, but then still stuck below IB high, chopping around this point of control level. Straight back into the chop. Nothing exciting to see here. All right, are we finally going to get that breakout? All right, I guess VWAP was where it was going to bounce. Didn't come down to where I was waiting for. Let's see if it comes up to this Asia high. This little level of resistance that I was kind of pointing out earlier at 621. There's not a whole lot of volume behind that area on the higher time frame though. Really just last night it was resistance. I'll be interested to see how we react at this Asia high. All right, D, have a good one. Coming on up to Asia high. Let's see how it reacts there. Yeah, I'm a little annoyed, Shez, that I just sat through this chop forever and was waiting for it to come down to this 565 level. And it actually ended up bouncing off of VWAP there. and really didn't even give a chance for an entry. That all happened within like 15 seconds. It'll be interesting to see if there's a rejection at this Asia high or if it just continues up. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call it there, because now nothing's really happening. Sat through that chop forever. My patience is wearing thin at this point, because I was waiting for a level that never showed up, and now the move is happening without me, so I don't want to chase it. And I'm green in both my accounts, so I'll just leave it that way. Might come back and take a look this afternoon to see if there's anything else that shows up, but as of now, I'm not seeing anything. It could possibly come back down to, I could see it come into this level here, which is right at point of control around 23,600 and IB high at 23,700. So if it comes back down here and moves up, we could get some continuation higher. The only issue with that is we do have this overhead Asia high. So we could get a rejection there. So I personally wouldn't take that trade. I think I would wait for that liquidity to get swept and then maybe retest for continuation higher. So just kind of letting you guys know my thoughts. But I think I'm going to step away, go get some other stuff done, take a break from the charts, and come back and see if we get anything later. Thanks for joining, you guys. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. Subscribe so you can get notifications when I do hop on live. And join the Discord if you haven't already too, so you can see what other trades we take off stream. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.